July 9th. When I woke up the next morning, I had found out that it snowed almost 18 inches overnight. This now brings the snow total since I have arrived over 2.5 feet. It didn't seem like it was going to slow down at all. My truck was probably not going to be useful driving to the nearby Native American settlement. I wanted to go talk to them to see if they knew anything about this, since this feels like it could be some sort of magic, maybe something that they possibly have called down. I wasn't entirely certain, so I took the snowmobile out of the back of my truck, grabbed my shotgun and my knife, and I prepared to head out. The gas was full in my snowmobile, so I was ready to head out. I made sure to bundle warmly because it felt like the temperature was slowly beginning to drop. The higher the snow, the colder it got. So, getting on the back of the snowmobile, I drove through, heading west, and that's when I found that it was even worse getting closer to the Native American settlement. Upon arrival, I found a little restaurant there, so I stepped in to see if I could find anything out. I was greeted coldly. No one really wanted to even look at me. Don't know precisely why. I made sure to hide my shotgun in the compartment that I have on the snowmobile, so no one knew that I was well armed. They seemed to be more at unease than even the people the next town over. That really wasn't a problem for me because I simply wanted to find out. Whether or not they would come up and talk to me, I would eventually get some information. But that's when a single one, average height, average build, came walking up to me. He called himself Cody, but I knew something immediately was off about him. Didn't even take me having to use my true eye. He was not human. And he knew that I knew. But he didn't want to put any of the Native Americans at unease. So I looked at him and asked him, "Have you played any tricks recently?" And he smiled at me because he knew that I knew exactly who he was. He was the Native American deity known as Coyote. Calling himself Cody was a joke. A very simple way of hiding his true name. However, he didn't care. He told me, as we sat down for a burger, exactly what he knew about the situation. Some force came here and cast a spell of this cold weather to hide what they were actually doing. He wasn't 100% sure what was exactly going on. However, he did know that there was a cave that medicine men used good magic or light magic, the blessed way spells, you could say, to bind a cave shut that held a trio of very dangerous monsters. Wendigo. A long time ago, there were a series of cannibalistic incidents that had occurred, turning 3 men from human to monster. Wendigos are sort of an undead, but they are constantly ravenous, always needing to eat. They have above human strength and are very difficult to kill, but not impossible. It's about the same difficulty as taking out a vampire. The difference is vampires go for blood and Wendigos go for everything. There's no real magic bullet to taking them out. You blow their heart out, you cut their head off. It's really that easy. Easy. Well, it'll be easy for me, but it wouldn't be easy for most people. My true power comes from this eye that allows me to track things. It also gives me the ability to see the mathematical probabilities when I'm throwing things or shooting. I can see exactly the odds for hitting my target where they need to hit, which allows me to never miss. You could call this thing the spell of Gugnir, a little gift from a benefactor that didn't give me a choice. Coyote explained that there was a dark force that arrived, and when he arrived, this spell started almost immediately. Whatever he was doing, he needed to get in that cave, but in breaking the seal, the energy was released, and the monsters were released. 3 Wendigo. Coyote said that he only saw 2 of them. All he was doing was keeping his people safe. He didn't care about what happened to the white man. Understandable considering certain things that have happened in the past. So I laughed when I told him it was pretty weird that he was going to talk to me, a white man, about this problem. And he told me that he knew exactly who I was and who I worked for, and in reality, me solving this problem helps his people as well. That's my job. I'm here to take out the things that go bump in the night. So I parted ways with them, and I headed back to go get my truck. I might need more weaponry than just a shotgun, but on my way back, I knew something was off. My eye began to twinge. I felt like I was being watched. So I slowed down, took the shotgun out, and that's when the Wendigo jumped out. Wendigos look quite human, but the curse that goes through them makes them grow taller, but they can become gaunt. This one was probably between 7 and 8 feet tall. He was moving fast, above human, but not at the point of being able to run like a cheetah. Probably the snow was slowing him down. It didn't really matter. One moment I looked and I could see the angle needed, so I fired the shotgun. It blew through his chest and he toppled over. While he was stunned from that, I took my knife out, stabbed him in the neck, and cut his head off. I kicked his body over, and that was one down. I don't know where the other one was, but I was heading back into town. When I arrived back in town, I saw buildings were being smashed apart. This other one was attacking the town. He was bigger than the last one, stronger, faster, and the town had the disservice of trying to keep their roads cleared from all this snow, so it was able to move faster. He charged around and jumped over at me. I took the shotgun out again, fired one shot. I hit him, but the angle was just a little off, so it blew off part of his arm. He stopped for a second stunned, and that was a problem. He shouldn't have done that. It didn't take me very long to get the sight just right, and the second shot landed clear in his chest. He dropped, and I took the knife out and took out the second Wendigo. The third one never arrived. By the time this was all done, it started to get dark again, which was weird. It didn't make much sense that it was dark at this point. I figured I need to go and try to find this cave tomorrow. I'm not going to drive around in the dark with a Wendigo. The last one, wherever it is, will have to be found later. So I returned to my hotel room, but immediately there was something wrong. The room was dark. Even when I turned the light on, there was a presence in here. Something very different. Suddenly, eyes appeared on the wall in the shape of a man. It came out of the shadows. It was clearly taller than I was. It slowly took on the form of a man in a wide-brimmed hat, with a giant smile that stretched from ear to ear. The eyes all over his body began to become covered up in red clothing. And he said, "Hello." I took one step back. There was a presence within him. My eye began to freak out. I could not handle the pain. He started to laugh. "I've come to tell you something, Jack. I know the cave that you're looking for." Chills went through my body. His voice, raspy, dark. There was malice in it. This was far worse than anything I have ever felt before in my life. And yet, there was no malice coming from him. It was just the presence of evil. And he was yet not threatening. "I have come to give you a little tip to help you get on your way. You see, I don't want someone else to win. I can't tell you that person's name yet, but I can make you a thorn in his side." He gave me a map, and then he disappeared. Gone in a flash. I have no idea who he was, but the presence of evil left. I was left shaken, gasping for breath. Who was that man in red?